Hello, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another book video. Sorry it's so late, it is currently the 13th of October, so we're literally halfway through the month and I'm only just getting around to filming last month's video. Sorry. So the reason being, I basically only read one book in September, but I started my second book, which you'll see what they are in a minute. But I started the second one, read most of it, and then life got a bit busy and I didn't read for like a whole week, which meant that this book just sat on the side, and then I only finished it yesterday. So I am going to include it in the September wrap up because I did read most of it in September. And it didn't actually take me long to read, like I don't think I spent that long reading that book, but it was just the gaps in between that kind of stretched it out a little bit. The first book as well took me quite a long time just because of the nature of the book, which you'll understand in a minute. And then we're gonna try and whip up an October TBR, even though we only have like, how many weeks of October do we have? It's Wednesday, so I think we have like 2.5 weeks. Yeah. Oh, it's really satisfying as well because the 31st is a Sunday. So yeah, we literally have 2.5 weeks exactly of October left. So how many more books I'm going to read in that time, I do not know. But let's get on to it. So as I said, I only read two books in September, and one of them you probably can't even class as reading in September. So these are the books. So this is the first book, Make It Happen by Jordana Levin. I don't know if I'm saying that right. There you go. And I picked this up on a whim in the works. Do other countries have the works, or is it just the UK? Because the works is an absolute diamond in the rough, because that shop is full of the most random things, but occasionally you'll go in and you'll get an absolute corker like this book. So this cost me £3, and the actual, like, what's it called, the RP something recommended retail price, is that what it is, is £8.99 for the UK. So I mean, it was a bargain, and this was the only copy left as well, and I've not seen it in there since, so I feel like it was meant to be. But it's literally called Make It Happen, Manifest the Life of Your Dreams, which sounds a little bit woo-woo, but it's written really well. The way it's like set out is not like crazy manifest, you know, like the typical kind of self-help books are. This is like practical advice. I think it's split into, I finished this quite a while ago, so forgive me, but I think it's split into two. So it like tells you about, yeah, there's a contents page. So you have part one, which is, you can be able to see that, there you go. Part one, which is the theory, and it literally goes through, like, so she's put it into a manifestation equation, which actually is a really clever way of putting it, because I feel like normally when someone's like, oh, I'm going to manifest it, you just like, you think about it, or maybe you write it down and you think that that's going to manifest. But this is like a step-by-step, like tangible thing that you can actually practice. It kind of takes you through those steps and how to put them into this equation to manifest like anything you want, is the theory. And then part two is the practice. So it literally has a whole chapter on all the things you might want to manifest, which is quite cool. So it also has, so it's got elements of like autobiographical like stories in it from the author, which I think is quite useful in the context of this book, because it's obviously telling you what she went through and how she did things, and then how she learned from that, and then put this into her work of manifesting, if that makes sense. So there's a lot in it about her and her life and how she did things. And then at the end of each chapter, let me find an example. Or is this just in, oh no, here's one. So it has exercises throughout the book, which, if you're going to get this book, I recommend actually doing the exercises. But they're laid out like that, and they're at the end of each like little section. And this is why it took me ages to read this book, because I actually tried to do them as I went along, which I felt helped me until about here. And then I just kept reading it and not doing the exercises and then went back, but I still need to go back and do the last few just because they're a little bit more long-winded. But yeah, you could really like make some big changes like personal development wise with this book if you wanted to. I don't know how to explain it other than like it's very practical, and the exercises in it will help you if you want to be helped, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I will be going back to it, and like I said, I will be going back to finish the last few journal exercises as well. But yeah, highly recommend. So the next book I read, the one that I only finished yesterday, shamefully, is Ruth Jones' Nevergreener. This has been on my TBR for ages. I think I bought this in my World of Books haul, so I think it was like super cheap. It says 12 euros on the back, but I did not pay 12 euros. The actual price says £8.99, but again, I don't think I paid that. I think I paid like £2 or £3 on, I'm pretty sure it was World of Books. If you go back on my book hauls, then it will be in one of them. But this sat on my shelf for so long because I knew that it was a book that I wanted to read, and it was very like hyped up. So it had been on my list for so long, but I never wanted to reach for it, mainly because I didn't really know much about it. I've never heard anyone talk about it other than to say that it was good. So I finally got around to picking it up, and this book, I loved it. Like, genuinely think this is my favourite book I've read this year, if not like in my top 3 ever. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. Just all the characters are so well written, and you feel for all of them. I think it says that on the front. Yeah, I felt for every character unputdownable. I very much agree with that review. I literally read it in probably like 4 sittings. It's quite chunky, it's like 500 pages, which is a big book for me. And yeah, I'm not going to give spoilers, but it's very eventful. It's like got themes of like romance, affairs, yeah, it's family. It's just so good. Like, it's such a good book. It's like, you can't put it down. The chapters, some of the chapters are really short, which always helps me not put down a book because I feel like I'm making progress quicker, so then I don't want to put it down. Whereas if it's a long chapter, I tend to read like 1, maybe 2 chapters max and then put it down, call it a day. But with this, I probably could have read it in 1 sitting if I had a whole day free. Yeah, so good. I need a sequel to this book. Like, I need it. Ruth, please. She has just brought out another book, just in the back, Us 3, which has been in the Tesco 2 for whatever deal for so long, and I didn't buy it. So I looked online, literally when I finished this I was like, I need more. But the next book isn't anything to do with this story, it's completely different. But I did order it on Amazon, so a little PSA, if you go on Amazon and then select used books, I think I literally paid like £3.10 or something like that. So yeah, I highly recommend. I think this one's a similar deal on Amazon, but if not, World of Books is your friend. But yeah, if you know who Ruth Jones is, do you know now? Absolute legend. But yeah, this is her debut novel as well, and it's bloody good. So I can't wait to read the next one. I feel like it's going to be one of those books as well where it comes like next week and then I suddenly just bump it to the top of my TBR, even though I have about 20 books to read. So watch this space for that. So that's it for my September wrap up. Shocking, I know, but I did go back to uni, and I feel like I said that it was going to get busy, and I've also been crazy with work because I've picked up another job, and yeah, it's just been a lot. I've been all over the place, so that is all I managed, and that's okay. So moving on to my October TBR, I started this last night and I've been reading it this morning, but I haven't got very far. This is How to Disappear by Gillian McAllister. Again, the trusty Tesco deal. I've seen a couple of reviews of this actually, to be fair, even though I did pick it up on a whim because I wanted the other book, and this is the next one that seemed worth reading. But it's a psychological thriller, which I don't read a lot of, but the last one I read was The Girl on the Train, and I loved that book. So hopefully this is like on par with that. That's the only thing I have to compare it to, so we'll see. But yeah, this is basically about a murder and how this girl's identity is revealed and blah blah blah. I don't really know. I'm literally on page 54. and yeah, the back doesn't really give away a lot either, so interested to see how this goes. I want to try and get through it quicker than the other one took me, so that's my current read. And I'm not really sure what else I'm going to get through, if I even finish that, so just to be realistic, I thought I would show you books that I have accumulated recently. So before I do that, my other book that is nearing the top of my TBR is the Giovanna Fletcher collection, which I got all 5 books. I don't know if that's all her books. I want to say it is, because otherwise why would they put random 5 books together? But I got that from the works as well, and I mentioned that in my previous, I think it's in the last one, in the last book video. But yeah, Billy and Me is the next one that I want to read if I go straight into another fiction, because I normally do like to alternate between fiction and non-fiction. Non-fiction usually being some kind of self-help, personal development kind of vibe, but yeah, this is my next fiction book that I probably want to read. But yeah, that's probably going to be my realistic October TBR. If I get through both of those, I'll be happy. But then I wanted to show you a couple of books that I have accumulated since the last book video, because there's been a few, some not intentional, to cut myself some slack. So the first one is The Power of Now. I've been after this book for ages, and it kept popping up on my Amazon because I've saved it to my list because I was waiting for the price to drop, and it finally did, so I ordered it. It is quite a small book, but the font is also tiny. I feel like I need a magnifying glass to read that. But yeah, if you don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, he's basically like the self-help, law of attraction king, basically. But yeah, it's basically spiritual vibes, law of attraction, that kind of thing. Excited to read it. On the similar kind of wavelength, I also have Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King, and I've been after this book for ages, and I have a little story. So where's it gone? In this book, one of the like little exercises is to manifest little things, so that's how it starts you off. Let me see if I can find it in here actually. Manifesting little things in chapter 8. So it's all about how you can manifest things like parking spaces. So like thinking in your head that there's going to be a space, and you're so convinced that there's going to be a space that when you get there, there is. That's basically the bottom line of it. And the next one is books, and one of the exercises was your next read. Decide which book you want to read, then visualize it on the shelf of your book exchange, library, cafe, your friend's house, like wherever you think you're gonna find it. Tap into the feeling of having that book in your hands. How good does that feel? And then actively keep your eyes peeled every day when you're out and about and await its arrival. You're going about your business and you're not attached to the outcome. So that's the other thing that's like one of the things in this book about manifesting, is that you're not attached to the outcome. So you're not like bothered whether it happens or not, but if it does, like, you know how good that's gonna feel. And then just hold the firm belief that it will turn up, because it will. So I was like, okay, well, I'm into reading anyway, let's manifest my next read. So I thought of this book because I kept seeing it pop up, and I was like, I've wanted it for ages, let's see if I can manifest it. And it came up on Amazon half price. So I was like, okay, I've been thinking about this book, like it's happened to come up half price, I'll pop it in my basket. And then when I went through to the checkout, it applied a £5 voucher, meaning that I got the book for free. So that happened because I had like a refund on my account that I'd completely forgotten about from a delivery that went wrong that they had to resend me, and that like voucher was on my account and I didn't know it was there. So when I went through and it just went through to 0, and I was like, what? So I manifested this book because I didn't pay for it. It just turned up, happened to be half price anyway, and then I happened to get that £5 off. So there you go, story time. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It's got loads of, oh my god, it's the same font as the other book. It's the same font as Make It Happen. But yeah, this is probably gonna be high up on my to-do list. Like I'll probably read this before this, to be honest, but yeah, we'll see. 2 more books that I've accumulated. This one is The Note, and I literally just picked this up in a charity shop because I've been going through looking in all the book sections because I pass so many charity shops on the daily that I could not go in and have a look. I've never heard of it before, I just like the look of it. But it says, on a very ordinary day, Maya Flowers sees a new commuter board her train to London, and suddenly the day isn't ordinary. She knows immediately that he is the one. Every day they go through the same routine, his head in a book and dreaming of her their happily ever after, can't talk. But eventually Maya plucks the courage to give train man a note asking him out for a drink. It's just a cheesy rom-com, and I'm not afraid to admit it, and I think I'm gonna love it. So yeah, I literally paid like £1 for this in the charity shop, so this is also on my TBR now. And then the final book that I have accumulated recently is good old Shirley Ballas. My nana sent me this in the post as a little gift, which I thought was really cute, but oh, she's a little bit ripped. I hope that wasn't me. But yeah, it's a hardback, it's a little bit chunky, it's got some pictures in it, it's just your standard like autobiography, but I am excited to read about like her life before Strictly and stuff because I think she's been through a lot, and like she's a Latin and ballroom queen, so I will no doubt enjoy this. I love an autobiography. I've always read them like since I was a kid. I used to have like favourite celebrities that I'd just read their autobiographies and found them really interesting, so excited to read this one. I'm not sure when I'll get around to it, but it will be soon because I'm sure my nana will be asking me how it was, so I need to read it pretty sharpish. But yeah, so they're the books that I have accumulated. Why is this more than I've read in the last 2 months? After I said I wasn't going to buy any more books as well. I'm actually awful. I have a problem. So that's the end of this video. I feel like that's been quite a lengthy one considering I read 2 books, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, I do a book video every month, so summarising the books I've read and the books I want to read and any books I've accumulated, as you've just seen. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed and I will see you in the next video. Bye!